Okay, we've got a full webinar. I'd like to thank everybody for joining us this morning or this afternoon, depending on where you are. My name is Michael Burden, and I am a Business Development Manager and Strategic Partnership Manager for Vanderbilt. I have a wide experience of access control, and my background is from the ACT company, and I have over 20 years experience for access control. So we seem to have a full house here, so I just need to start. So for those of you who do not know about the ACRE group, Vanderbilt is part of the ACRE group, which is a conglomeration of different companies that have been acquired over the last number of years. As you can see on the presentation here, ACT is one of the companies that is part of the Vanderbilt group, among others, and I'm going to talk to you today about the ACTPro range of products. We have a wide reach in terms of our locations, pretty much globally. Many of you are calling from the Middle East and the Asia, APAC region, and you will know your representation in those regions. If you don't know those people, we will send you a follow-on email, and please reach out to me, and I can hook you up with your local representative, and we can go into a lot more detail on the products that we've discussed today, or we can discuss other products that are part of the ACRE group and the particularly the Vanderbilt product range for access control. So without further ado, let me talk about the ACT product range. ACTPro is what I'm going to talk to you about today. We have various different products within the ACT product family. We have a on-premise and we have a cloud-based solutions. We also have standalone products, which are essentially keypads. What I'm going to talk to you today is about our on-premise solution, which is called ACTEnterprise or ACTPro, as I will refer to during the presentation. As you can see from the diagram, that the Pro solution is best suited where you have a large number of doors, but maybe not so many sites. So anything from 20 doors up to thousands of doors. It's a very scalable solution using the same hardware. Some of the applications where this product is installed currently, we have had very successful installations in the following verticals: healthcare, commerce, industry, educational, universities and hospitals, where you have many hundreds of doors in single locations. The biggest system out there that we have is approximately 1,600 doors in a hospital in London, using very similar hardware. So whether you have a 20-door system or an 800-door system, the hardware fundamentally doesn't change, which makes the product very scalable. So within the presentation today, I'm going to talk about the ACTPro solution, and then I'm going to give you a very brief demonstration of how the software operates and show you what it looks like. So let's talk about the hardware first. The architecture of the ACT hardware is a single door IP controller. That is the basis of what we do. Our product, as I mentioned, is very scalable, and you can have multiple single door IP controllers per site. The software or the hardware supports OSDP, which I will talk about in terms of encryption for readers, which makes it a very high secure product. It's got dual Ethernet port, which I will show you the benefit of. And we also have versions of our product with power supply, without power supply, or with battery, or with PoE. And we've a PoE Ultra solution, which is a very high end, which allows you to power a magnetic lock from. And we're one of the only people in the access control space who's got a PoE Ultra or PoE Plus product. To show you in terms of the architecture of how the system sits together, you can give each device their own IP address and then have it onto the network. Or you can also, because of our dual ports technology, you can link controllers together. As you see on the bottom, and the illustration here on the bottom, you have multiple controllers linked together. So that makes it very flexible in terms of an installation. So if you have a cluster of doors together, you could have multiple controllers connected over our dual Ethernet port into a single IP address, or if you prefer, each device can have their own IP address. The product has auto discovery, so from an installation point of view, it's a DHCP operation. So when you connect the controller, the software will pick it up automatically. The product also has break glass monitoring, so it's very handy that you can have you can view the status of your door if it's open for various reasons. It also has full distributed intelligence, and what we mean by that is that the database with this configuration is in the controller. So if a door goes offline to the software, you don't have to worry about the configuration. People will still come and go as normal because the database is in the controller. We also have an option for what we call a door station or hub controller. And this system allows you to have a low-cost option for your market. So depending on the environment, not everybody needs to have a single IP controller at every door. So there is an option to have a 4A5 controller, which allows you to wire additional doors locally to your controller. So that is a very unique feature in terms of access control that we offer both in terms of 485 and IP. Part of the value proposition of the ACTPro range is that we are very price competitive. We like to think that we have a solution that can compete with the mid to low end in terms of price, but certainly at the high end in terms of functionality and features. In some markets that we've entered in the last 18 months, we've been very successful in competing with the local manufacturer who would be at a lower cost. We find that we can, with our product range, we can compete on a price point of view, certainly in regions, and we find that we have a much higher specification in terms of performance and feature set. So it's worth bearing in mind that we do have solutions that can match your budget, whether they be 485 or IP solutions. So let me talk about reading technologies. Just to give you a brief overview in terms of card technologies, my colleague Andrew Fulton, who is a lot of you will know, is our business development director for access control, is doing a webinar over the next few days on card cloning. We will be sending out invitations to that. It's very interesting. Just to give you an idea of where the card cloning world is right now. At the top of the tree, we have MyFair and DesFire and EV1. And effectively what we mean by these is that these are cards that are very hard to clone. Certainly DesFire EV2 cannot be cloned currently, and it is at the higher end. And as we go down the scale, we move into other technologies, and at the lower end of the scale, we have 125 kilohertz procs, Wiegand, and EN formats, which are very clonable, very copyable. So Vanderbilt have solutions in all of these areas, but we really like to position ourselves at the higher end in terms of cards cannot be cloned. And what we found recently over the last number of months is that these cards can be supplied to you in a very cost-effective manner compared to what they were in the past. So let me talk to you about our ACT VR range, our Vanderbilt VR range. This is a range of readers that are MyFair and DesFire EV1 and 2 readers. They're very attractive readers. They can go outdoors and they can be put into most environments. They have an IP rating of 65. The really unique thing about these readers is that they are OSDP, which is an encryption between the reader and the controller. So that encryption is 128-bit. And what we find is that for clients who are more security conscious, the VR reader certainly ticks the box, and particularly with the EV1 and EV2 standards and the OSDP. Apart from their, I think, very attractive look, they're very easy to install, and they also have a configurable light bar, which means you can configure the colors of the surround of the reader, which we find very useful. So in certain environments, you might have different colors, or if you have a lockdown situation where you don't want people coming in for whatever reason, the reader can flash in a color of your choice. So it's a very flexible reader, but at its core, it's a high-end encrypted reader. We also have other ranges of readers which are more price competitive. These readers are available in standard 125 kilohertz or 13.56 MyFair and DesFire formats. They're available in procs only, pin and procs. They have backlighting as well. We recently launched a new range of readers, which are Bluetooth readers. And the beauty of these readers is they allow you, or you allow your clients to use their mobile phones to access control. So effectively, these readers are connected to our ACTPro range, and we can then send the credential to the user's mobile phone through an app, which allows them to open the door from their mobile phone. So this is a relatively new feature in terms of the ACT range, and it's been the uptake on it has been very good so far. In terms of the technology that we use, it supports MyFair and DesFire EV1 and EV2. It also supports Wiegand. Very much like our VR range of readers, this product is 128-bit. It has 128-bit AES encryption. It is free to download from wherever you get your apps from. It's an IP rating of 65, and it also has an exit switch option, which is quite unique in terms of how that works. You don't need to touch it. So I will show you within the presentation in terms of how we apply credentials to our customers. It's very user-friendly. Effectively, the end user downloads an app, then they apply for the credential for the security operator who sends it to their phone. So it's a very unique product, and I look forward to showing you a little bit more about that when I get into the ACT presentation. So there's 4 ways of using the Bluetooth reader. You can show and go, shake and go, hands-free, and manual. So depending on the environment, you can actually select it within the app on how you want to do it. So I think it's very, it's got a lot of options in terms of your clients and what they want. And we find that depending on the environment, this giving you these options makes it a very flexible product. One thing that I can say about the Bluetooth readers is that we have a one-time payment solution. So when you buy it for your phone, you buy it once, and some other people in the market have an annual subscription for mobile credentials, but that's not the way our system operates. We'd be very happy to talk to you about that in more detail after this. So with our software, you actually get 1 credential free of charge. So you can download our software from our website, and that allows you to have a credential on your phone to see how it works. Just thought it would be interesting today to mention this product. It's a contactless door exit button. I think in today's environment that we are all painfully aware of, this is a very unique product. It just allows you to unlock the door from the secure side without touching the actual device. So if people have gloves on or surgical gloves, they can unlock a door from the inside without actually touching the device. So it just might be something that we're certainly starting to see requests for that product over the last number of weeks, sadly. We also have a range of biometric readers, and I don't think there is anything particularly unique in terms of having a biometric range, but I think what separates the Vanderbilt ACT range is that we have a inherent integration into our software, which allows fingerprint credentials to be enrolled through our software and then distributed to multiple readers. So the great thing about that is you enroll the fingerprint with a USB reader with our software, and then you can distribute that credential or broadcast that credential to the readers that are on the site. And that's really unique. There are a lot of access control companies out there who support biometrics, but you need to go around to every one device and enroll. But our enrollment process is very simple and very straightforward. That is our enrollment reader, and that just pretty much plugs into our USB onto your server or to your PC, and users are enrolled locally. So I'd also like to talk about wireless locks. We have an integration into the ASA Abloy range of wireless locks called Aperio, and these devices can be used in conjunction with the ACTPro solution. These wireless locks are battery operated, and they support the MIFARE and DESFAR EV1 technologies that I've spoken about. The advantage of these products is that they are online all of the time. So you see other competitors out there in the market who have offline solutions where you don't get real-time updating. But these locks communicate wirelessly to a hub which talks to the ACT controller, and you get real-time updates in terms of access control and what's going on. So we're noticing that there's a particular emphasis on this type of product in the hospitality sector, including universities, student accommodation, and hospitals. The advantage of wireless locks is the ease of installation. Because there There is no cabling as such. This door, the lock is installed on a standard door. The device then talks to a hub wirelessly. So huge cost savings in terms of installation time. And as I said, one of the key advantages is with our integration is real-time updates. So that device, as I mentioned, wires into a hub, and you can have up to 4 hubs per controller. So it's a maximum of 16 wireless locks per controller. So huge cost savings in terms of hardware if you wanted to go down the wireless lock route. The reason we partnered with ASA Abloy is they are a global provider of wireless locks with the Aperio range. They tend to have solutions for most type of doors globally. So depending on the market, because ASA Abloy are a global provider, they tend to have solutions for most type of doors. Just to give you an idea of some of the standards, as I mentioned, these standards are global and they tend to tick a lot of boxes in terms of standards and compliance. We're very happy to talk to you about that product range on an individual basis. So I hope I've given you a good understanding of our hardware. I think the key points for me is the single door IP controller, power over Ethernet, the Bluetooth credentials, biometric reading as well. They're the kind of the key features. Single door IP with distributed intelligence, and it's very scalable. So if you have 20 doors or 1,000 doors, your hardware doesn't dramatically change. And that makes it a very simple configuration, makes it very simple from a specification point of view in terms of requirement, and makes it very simple from an installation point of view. So let me talk to you a little bit about our software solution. Our software is called ACTPro or ACTEnterprise, and it's a very scalable solution. It's modular-based software. Excuse me, I'm just drinking some coffee here. It's a modular-based software. So our reasoning behind this is that depending on who the operator is, when they log on, they will only see what we believe that they need to see. So if you are a security manager, you might see the ACT Manage module. If you're a security user, you might see the ACT Monitor user. So what we mean by ACT Monitor is the operator can view what's going on. He can see, or she can see who, where, when, but they can't fundamentally go in and change access rights or do something that we don't want them to do. And that's all basically through their sign-in. So depending on what their sign-in credentials are, it will give them access to what we need to give them access to. We also have, as part of the package, is the ACT install module. And effectively that is for you guys in terms of system integrators, that we take a lot of the configuration away from the end user and the operator. So they don't need to see IP addresses. They don't need to understand the controllers. We take all that away. And what we find is by doing that, the operator has less options in terms of messing with the system or changing some of the fundamentals of the architecture. So let me mention some of the key features of this software. And as I mentioned, I will show you ACTEnterprise. So one of the first things that this product has is site maps. It has a tiered mapping structure. So what that means is that you can, the operator is looking at the system, what they see is the map, but they see the doors located on the map, and they can see the status of those doors. So if the door is in a normal status, it will be a particular color, but then if you get an alarm event, the door will go red, and you will have an alarm event that could be an audio to say that access denied. And we find it's very useful that if a security operator is not familiar with the site, or if it's a particularly large site, we can detect where that alarm event is on a visual aid of the map. For those of you on the call who are familiar with our SPC intrusion product, the system integrates with SPC intrusion. So not only can you see your alarm events for access control, you can see your alarm events from your SPC intrusion product as well. So a lot of integration there with the ACT and SPC intrusion product. So you can also, with that feature, you can arm and disarm panels in particular regions or zones. You can also lock and unlock doors. So if you have a person who is at a door and they can't get in, you can do that remotely from the map. So very useful tool, and we find the larger sites tend to use that quite a lot. We also have alarm event video integration. So what the software allows you to do is to verify an event. So if you have an alarm event, for an example, if you can associate a camera to a door, and I will mention of how you do that. I will talk about how we do that. We have various integration partners that we can integrate to, and effectively through this method, we integrate with our partners, NVRs, and through our software, we can recall an event from the NVR for a particular timestamp. So really cool feature. It also gives you the security operator a little bit more information in terms of just seeing an access granted or an access denied at a region. He can actually click on the event and view the associated camera footage real time. I want to talk to you about a key feature called the rules engine, which is part of the software. This unique feature allows you to set a command and control or cause and effect environment, and I'm going to demonstrate how easy that is to do. I believe that this product is certainly punches above its weight in terms of this feature. It's a very high-end feature for a relatively low-cost access control solution, and the limitation of the rules engine, as far as I'm concerned, is really the imagination of the system integrator. So effectively what you can do is you can say, just as a brief example, if somebody comes in a particular door or a group of doors, what do you want to happen? So you can set a whole chain of commands in terms of what you want to happen through a very easy to use interface, which I'll show you in a few minutes. The product also has a mobile application, so you can view the status of your system through a mobile app. It's very convenient that if you have alarm events and you're not at your PC or you're not looking at your device, that these events can be viewed from your phone. So if you have a problem, you're going to know about it on your phone. Your clients can use this as well, and it's very helpful. You can also disable cards from your phone. So if somebody has left your company or has left the business, or you do not want them to have access, but you're not at the location, you can open the app, disable the user very quickly, and that's all I need to say about that. You can also control a door, so you can lock or unlock a door remotely. You can also arm and disarm the intrusion system, and you've got a very neat muster report facility with that as well. So if there's a muster situation where you have an evacuation, you can run a muster report from your phone or your tablet, which is going to tell you who's in the building. The muster feature also has the added feature in allowing you to call that person. So you can actually run your muster report from your phone. It's going to tell you who's not there, and you can actually call them. If you've got their mobile phone, you can just call that number and find out where they are. So really cool feature, and it's just as standard and part of our app. I mentioned that we have some integrations with video partners. So let me go through that with you. Milestone is a partner. We have 2 integrations to them. We can speak to their NVRs as I described. So if we have an alarm event, we can associate a camera to a door and view that footage using the Milestone hardware range of NVRs. We also have an integration into the XProtect VMS platform. So we can send our events or the access control events to their front end. So there's 2 ways of operating that with Milestone. And as I mentioned, we're very happy to talk to you about how those integrations work. And we have some very successful use cases for some universities and hospitals who are using that feature. Another integration that we've done is HIKVision, and very similar to the previous integration that I just mentioned. We have an integration into the HIK range of NVRs where we can associate cameras with doors and view the events from the ACT software, or alternatively with the HIK or HIK VMS platform called HIK Central, we can send events to HIK Central. So I hope I'm coming across and you guys are understanding that, but within these 2 integrations, there's 2 ways of doing it. We can view the event through the ACT software and directly view the camera or the associated footage from the NVR, or the alternative is that we can send our events to their front end. So really flexible in terms of those 2 brands. We are looking to expand our partnerships in those areas. Some of the future integrations that we're currently working on are Hanwha and Hua, and again, very similar integrations planned with those brands. Vanderbilt see ourselves as an integration partner. We are, as a product, we feel that we are very easy to integrate to and with, and we believe that part of our growth strategy is to integrate with partners in regions that are leading brands, let's say, in the video space. So we're more than happy to talk to you about our partnership program and our roadmap there. So the Hanwha and the Hua ranges we would expect to have completed in 2020. So that gives you a overview of the ACT range and the software and who we're integrated with. I'm going to show you now what the software looks like, but just to give you an idea of who our partners are, and hopefully you can see from this image that we tend to partner with global brands because we're a global company, and it gives us the reach that we can provide very high-end solutions to our system integrators in most regions. We also have a Aspire partner platform, and this is for you guys, system integrators. And this is a loyalty program that we engage with you guys in a lot closer detail. So we will reach out to you after this presentation and talk to you about our Aspire program. But there's a lot of aspects to it. We provide you with up-to-date literature that you always have the latest specification documents. We have a very close relationship with you in terms of a commercial relationship. There we share leads and business opportunities that come our way. We also have a very strong emphasis on training, so that we engage with the system integration community and our Aspire partners to make sure that you guys are always trained and of our products and are aware of new products coming down the track, which allow you to give you an insight into what we're doing. So that concludes the presentation in terms of the ACT range. And what I want to show you now is the actual product. So if you just bear with me, I will just change my screen now. So hopefully you can see that. Emil, can you just confirm that you can see that?
You can see it, yes.
Yeah.
ACTEnterprise managed screen.
Thank you, Cornell.
Yes, we can.
Thank you, guys. So this is the ACT software called ACTEnterprise. When we designed this product, we want it to be as simple as possible for the integrator and for the end user. And part of our brief was to make it look very browser-based, so operators could navigate between windows very easily without having to be an IT expert. So you can see these big icons, pretty much the 6 icons that you see in the middle of the screen are what we believe are the kind of key features or the key functions that would be required to manage a system. We can then just scroll between windows using our toolbar on the left-hand side. So on a very basic level, I just click on my users, and straight away I can see who my users are on the system. If I've got a lot of users, I've got a very easy navigation tool which just allows me to look up Paul, for example, and this will give me all my Pauls here. So if you've got a lot of users, very easy to navigate. You don't need to be a computer expert to figure that out. And again, I can just scroll back and forward using the icons very easily. So I can give a quick snapshot here of what my users look like. These are my users. Their card is enabled. It's a valid card. What I mean by that is we can associate a validation period. So we can say a card is valid for 6 months, for example. I can also see what group they're in here. I've got some people in the admin staff. I've got some people in a full access group. What's really cool about this feature or this thing, the software, is I can click on multiple users and I can change their access rights. So I can set their group. What I mean by group is I can change what access rights they have. Instead of going into them all individually, I can just tick on these guys. I can set their group and it will do that automatically for me. So I can set them for all or for individuals. So if I take these guys and set their group, I'll put these guys into the IT group and apply. So very quickly, these guys are now in the IT group, as you can see here. So without getting into the specifics too much, I just wanted to demonstrate the user friendliness of this. So let me look at an individual. If I look for Michael, this is me, and this is my user profile. So we can see that I have a photograph associated with me. I'm hoping that the menu bar for your GoToWebinar is not interfering too much with this screen. But you can see here, you've got a name, email address, phone numbers. The card is enabled. If I want to disable that card, I just tick that button and the card's not going to work. I can put in a validity period here as well. So if I wanted a specific time. So it's very user friendly. As you can see, I'm not using my keyboard. Everything I'm using here is through my mouse. The system also has a card printing facility, so I can print cards. When I save changes, yes. So if I want to print a card, I can have standard card designs. So here's my card. If I'm a hospital, I can have multiple designs for various different people in various different parts of the hospital or university campus. And that whole design suite is standard within our software. So you can have multiple designs for people. So I'll go back to my profile. So as you can see, it's quite a comprehensive profile. I mentioned our Bluetooth technology. If I want to send an invite, or if I want to invite a user to use the mobile credentials, once I have their email address, I can invite them to a mobile credential. And effectively what happens there is the software will send an email to the user and we'll ask them to register the software, or sorry, register the credential. So the operator then, through his mobile app, opens the invitation. That generates a QR code. He sends it back to the operator, the software, and the credential is then set up. So a credential can be sent to a user in a matter of minutes, and it's a very user-friendly interface to do that. So that just gives you a insight into how easy an a user is. If I go back from a user-friendly point of view, go back to my users. If I want to add a user, I just tick this button here. So my users, the way our system operates is we have users and user groups. So individuals are part of a user group, and a user group is effectively what access rights do they have, what doors do they have access to, and what times are they allowed. So ease of use is a really big thing. If I show you, if I go back to my profile, you can see here we have a biometric template here that if I had a USB device connected to my PC here, I would click on this, present my fingerprint to the USB reader, and that would enroll a biometric template and associate that with my profile and broadcast that to the biometric readers on site. So again, all through a very easy to use interface that's not too complicated. So I mentioned we have a rules engine, or this command and control, and I just want to show you guys how that works. I think it's a very cool feature that we have. Effectively, what you're looking at the screen here is a layout or a map of what that might look like. So effectively what we're looking at here, if we're looking at the system from left to right, we have a user group. So these guys, the admin staff, on a time zone, on a door. So the name of this rule is the last out rule. And what I'm trying to achieve is that the last person to leave the building, I want them to set and unset the alarm, the intrusion alarm. So by setting up my parameters on the left-hand side, all of those parameters, if it's those people at that time, at that door, all three, and I have, what do I want to happen here? So I have my, you can see here, I've got first I'm going to send an email. So the message is the site is free. That's not very well explained, but I hope I'm getting the point across. And the recipients would be who receives the email. So I could change that email to say last person has left the building. So that happens. And then what do I want to happen? I want the panel to do a full set so the alarm is on. So looks complicated, but believe me, it's not complicated at all. So what I want to show you is how to add a rule. And very simply, you just go into this add a rule and give it a name. And I'm going to call this rule weekend access. I don't expect you guys to do this or to understand. I just wanted to demonstrate how simple it is to use. And as I said earlier on, I really believe this feature is the only limitations of this feature is somebody's imagination. We've seen all kinds of really imaginative scenarios. One of the features that I've seen, sadly, recently using this feature is a feature called lockdown in a clinical environment. So if there are certain parameters are invoked, a area within a clinical environment is locked down. And what we mean by that is the doors are locked and nobody's getting in or out. And that's all done very simply through this interface. And when we met with the client and designed this system, they really couldn't believe how easy it was to configure within the ACT software. So let me show you how this works. What I'm doing is I'm just, again, using my mouse. I'm just right-clicking on my, what I call my analyzer, and I'm going to create a new analyzer. And again, I'm going to look for a user group. I'm going to call this my full access group. So this is going to be everybody in that group. I then create a new analyzer, and I want to create a time zone, and I'm going to say weekend access. So it's everybody within that group at the weekend. An event type, I'm going to say, I'm just going to keep it very basic for the moment. I'm just going to go access denied. So I want to know if somebody's trying to get in at the weekend. So effectively, I just click on my logic and I'm going to say and. So there's my parameters. Okay, so what do I want to happen? And there's this is going to be my action. So I'm going to send an email. I'm going to send it to security guard weekend access. And the recipients are who's going to get that message. So security are going to get a message to saying that somebody's trying to get in at the weekend, which is good to know. What else do I want to happen? Send an email. I might switch an output. I've got a siren associated. I'm going to switch that relay on an output 2, which is on a door event. So I'm going to switch that output as well. So what I'm doing is I'm building up a tier of scenarios of what I want to happen. And I just link these events here and here. So on a very basic level, that took me all of, I don't know, 2 minutes. What I've done is I've set up a scenario of what I want to happen in that environment. And I just save that and that's done. I could also put up a scenario and say, I'm just going to make an exception here just for a user. Let's just say my screen, the resolution is quite poor, so bear with me. So for me, Michael, let's just put in an exception in here. So even though I'm part of that group, I don't want that to happen for me. So I just put not in here. So that's not going to happen for me when I come in. I'm just running out of real estate on this because of my resolution. But I hope that gives you a picture of how easy that feature is to use. So I can go back. Changes are saved, and that weekend access rule is saved, and I can have multiple rules in my system. So I just want to show you one other thing in terms of the software and how easy it is to use. I mentioned the sitemaps. Boy. Emil, can you see that?
Yes, I do.
Okay, great. Don't know what happened there, guys. So we have a, just gonna, this is another view that you can use. Can you see the sitemaps, Emil?
Yes.
Yes, fantastic. So this is another view that clients would use where you have a very large site where you need to know where the doors are in relation to your site. So with the ACT software, you can import maps of your site. So you can see here, this is an overview, and we have some doors here on the map. If this is a live system, these doors would be of a color. And if there was an alarm event, this door would start flashing, and I could right click on the door here, and I can actually control the door now. So I can control, lock, unlock, do whatever I need to do on that door without really knowing where that door is if I'm a security guard. So just a high-end overview of the site. I can then start drilling down into the site itself. So as you can see, more locally now we have doors here associated within an office. So we can see there's that door there. I want to control that door. I can lock, unlock that door, whatever I need to do. So it's a very powerful tool for a relatively inexpensive solution. So this feature is standard within our software, and we find that the larger the site, the more useful this type of feature becomes. So that very much concludes my overview of the ACT presentation. What I will say is we have an upcoming webinar that my colleague Andrew Fulton will be doing over the next week or so, which will be a subject of card cloning. And we're going to talk about how easy it is to clone a card, or more importantly, we're going to show you how through the Vanderbilt solutions we can protect system integrators and users from card cloning and the products and the solutions that we have there. I would also say that we're quite limited in terms of time in this presentation, so we'll be reaching out to you people, and thank you for attending over the next number of days, and we're very happy to share the presentation with you in a lot more detail, and we can also go through the ACT software in a lot more detail, and we have arranged through our online learning service called LMS, we can actually provide online training for system integrators into the ACT Pro and ACTEnterprise solutions. So as we will be reaching out to you individually, after this webinar. I hope you found the webinar informative, and for those of you who are not familiar with the ACT range, I hope we came across of how feature rich we are, how easy it is to install, and from a cost point of view that we are very competitive in that field. I'd like to thank Emil and Cornell for assisting me with setting up and sending out the invitations for this presentation. We have recorded this presentation, and we can send you a copy if you like, or if you would like us to do it again with some of your colleagues. We have no problem with that. To conclude, I just wish to thank you again for joining, and I wish you all safety in this uncertain time, and thank you for joining. Goodbye.